Welcome all. This is going to be an episode of our Let's Talk here on ZeroHp. Today we're just going to kind of quickly, or somewhat, well, we say that. We'll see how get into the conversation we get. But we're just going to go over the Video Game Awards, actually. They took place on December 3rd. First off, but just before we even talk about like the 2015 ones, I am being joined, this is Ian, I'm being joined by Taylor and Jimmy, and our special guest Alyssa will join us today.
Yay!
She was watching the awards with me yesterday, so we were
unlike
really
me and
that.
Jimmy.
Yeah. So
Jimmy, you
didn't even
football.
know they existed, right?
No, I didn't know this went on.
I knew it was a thing, but I just didn't know it was going on yesterday. So instead, I chose to spend my time watching football,
which is now
and watching the Packers
recent.
come back from a crazy game.
Yeah, it was weird. I
Yeah.
was really rooting for the Lions on that one.
I was too.
Just because of my team and all that. But it's the second year, so second annual time they've done this, and it's like legitimate. I don't know if you guys remember the Spike VGAs
Oh gosh.
with like their potty humor.
Oh, yeah.
Those were embarrassing.
Yeah.
They were really bad. Like,
I never saw them, but
cringeworthy.
I could tell from just Spike in general with like Mansers and stuff like that. It was like you knew what you were in for.
Yeah, it was bad. I do remember they had Samuel L. Jackson come out, and he's like, "This is the game of the year, and we're like,
Motherfucker!
it's the motherfucking game of the year." And then they had Cosby come out. No, I'm kidding.
Don't even get me started.
Do it for the audience.
Zip, zop, zoop, and bop.
Oh God, I'm sorry. It's kind of an inside thing.
Yeah,
we've been doing that all night.
Just a little bit.
And we're recording this at 12:41 in the morning on Friday night. So
Yeah, true.
So anyway, the second year it's been done. I really like how it feels like a legitimate thing now.
Yeah.
It kind of feels like they're still getting their bearings. They're still trying to like figure some things out and
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
at the kinks.
Actually, when we finished watching it a second ago, I said that since this was their first time doing it, because they need to work the kinks out, and he's like, no,
Yeah.
they did it last year too. I'm like, what? Where the fuck have I been? But I saw that like there's still a few kinks.
Yeah.
And it's just.
Doesn't flow quite as well yet.
Gaming,
Yeah.
we're seeing a really important time in gaming where it's, I'm not going to necessarily say mainstream, but it's, we're getting esports and starting to be recognized as an actual sporting event, and there's actual commentary on it, and that's been going on for a while, but now like didn't like Fox or something host one of them or something?
Yeah, have you ever heard those commentaries for like MOBAs?
Okay.
And he goes in the corner, I guess I can! You're like, oh my God, man.
And so
It's nowhere near that hardcore yet.
I know.
You're watching it and you're like, oh, cool.
It's like a wizard shooting a fireball.
yeah. But I just think the gaming industry is finally being recognized by the whole entertainment industry as, the billion-dollar market.
I was going to say, it's weird that it hasn't, because it makes more money than movies or
Yeah.
books or any other form of entertainment in the world.
Because
I don't know about movies.
Because
but they're
most-
pretty,
No,
they're pretty
It does.
It's the biggest entertainment
and
industry
I think
on
that's
the planet.
because our generation of gamers is finally at that age where we can influence, politics and the world and all that. And
More so the
gaming is
market.
such a big part of our lives, and so that's why we're starting to see this, gaming more mainstream and events like this, and not the stupid fucking Spike.
I think it comes down to that whole, like, a few years ago, it's a big thing about, like, are games art or whatever, like that big, we had that conversation for a long time. I feel like that's gone away because, like, that's what the Oscars are all about, and, like, that's what, like, Nobel or, like, the, New York Times bestseller on books, and, like, they have, like, these traditions of, like, nominating and awarding these art forms by the industry that creates the art forms in the first. Like, games never had that, like, a legitimate one. So you just, like, you can't really have a conversation like what game definitively won Game of the Year. It's like IGN's Game of the Year, Game Informer's Game of the Year, GameSpot's Game of the Year. Like, which is fine. But I like that. Like, I feel like this is serious enough now to, like, next year be like, oh yeah, it's like in 2014, Dragon Age won.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like, that's it. Like, they won. That's the Game of the Year of the, now.
How were these decisions come to? Because I didn't catch that. Like, who made
That's
the
what I
decisions
wanna
of the
know,
show?
Did you end up looking that up at all?
No,
I thought they were fan voted.
Mm-mm.
No.
Only because they break down the ones that were fans' choice were the esports game of the year. We'll get to some of these. Best fan creation, trending gamer, like Let's Play gamers, like Markiplier and all those guys.
Right.
PewDiePie,
Greg Miller. We'll go over that soon because we want to talk about that one. Esports Team of the Year, Esports Player of the Year, and Most Anticipated Game were the only fans' choice. Now, I don't know what the decisions are made, but I'm going to assume it's much like the Oscars, where it's the biggest people in the industry.
A panel of professionals, basically.
Right. So you probably have developer, like creative directors, and you probably have like top guys in like the big companies.
Game journalists.
Probably like the
people
editors.
Like Kevin Van Word, maybe.
Yeah, or Andy McNamara from Game Informer. He's the main guy, the main editor-in-chief of Game Informer. So like guys, people like that. Like, almost like Associated Press does the MVP for the NFL. Like it's like a vote, you know.
Yeah.
Which I prefer that because like fan choice just gets too like
muddled
and just kind of there's usually
it's susceptible to a lot of I think it's susceptible to a lot of sensationalism too. Like I feel like
hype can just generate it.
Yeah.
And nostalgia too. Some people are just blinded by that.
Yeah.
So.
I am.
Like with Mario this year.
Yeah. Well, I bet Super Mario Maker may have won.
We'll get to it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. So let's go ahead and dive into this a little bit. We'll start with some of the fans' choice ones. We're not going to really go into the esports. I'm sorry if you're into esports, but we don't.
We don't care.
I don't play MOBAs.
None of us are really.
We don't really follow that. Yeah.
Not at all. So let's take a quick look here. Well, the biggest one in the fans' choice, I think, is Trendy Gamer, because that's a big deal. I watch a lot of those guys. I don't like PewDiePie at all, but
Markiplier
and Greg Miller
are
the two that I really watch.
Total Biscuit, too. Yeah.
I've seen a little bit of Total Biscuit, and I like him. So let's go over the nominees, whatever. Christopher Montecristo Mickles.
I don't know him.
Honestly, I don't know him either.
Montecristo's a good sandwich.
I don't know him.
That's all I'm gonna know. Sorry, dude. I don't mean to
might have to do burritos right after this. Make me hungry.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Greg Miller, one of my favorite guys in games. I absolutely love Greg Miller. I used to like Colin, and then as I watch more Kind of Funny, I've actually gravitated toward Greg Miller.
Greg is just so much more lovable. Colin's too harsh.
Yeah, he is. He's kind of like me.
He brings a view of cynicism to the panel.
I think that's why they're a great pair. They're best friends.
I think they need that though. Yeah,
they work so well together, kind of like a whole opposite attract thing, you know, because they're best friends for life, and they're very different from one another, but they match. That show is. I love watching that.
I do too.
Kind of Funny games. If you haven't heard them, they're kind of like a video podcast. Greg Miller, Colin Moriarty, and a few other guys.
This is the guy that's at Left IGN.
Left IGN. They were IGN, pretty much.
They were.
When they left. Because I don't even really go on IGN anymore. I just go to Kind of Funny. So there was Greg Miller, Markiplier. Just
one of the most lovable guys on the internet, I think.
Alyssa and I watch so much Markiplier.
He can get pretty loud sometimes, and he talks a little too much sometimes.
When he's playing story-based games, it's like, it'll be like in a serious cutscene, and he'll be like, "My name is John." I'm like, "Whoa, we're watching a cutscene, bro." But other than that, I love him to death.
Yeah.
Do you guys watch Markiplier?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I like him a lot. I actually think that honestly, if we're gonna be really honest, I think that there really isn't much distinction between him or PewDiePie. But Markiplier, in my opinion, is just so much more likable. Yeah. And I actually I don't know, there's not really a distinction that can be made between the content that they make, but
I agree.
Markiplier's content appeals to me way more.
There's a certain charm to Markiplier that I think PewDiePie
I feel like PewDiePie doesn't like video games when I watch him.
Yeah.
He constantly mocks the games he's playing.
I can't get past his stupid lisp thing he does whenever he's talking about. He sounds like he's slightly retarded. Whenever he's talking about games.
Exactly.
I just I've only seen a few of his videos, and the first two that I watched, I don't remember the games he was playing, but they were games I remember that I liked, so that probably didn't help. Mm-hmm. And he was walking around, I think one of them was maybe Red Dead Redemption or something, and he was dressed John Marston up like an idiot and was like, "Look, I'm a cowboy." And I'm like, dude, why aren't you playing this brilliant video game for what it is? Stop making clowning it. I don't know.
Yeah, to his credit,
I'm a snob.
Yeah. Well, to his credit though, he is an amazing humanitarian, and
Absolutely.
He makes millions of dollars, and he donates it to charity.
Oh, sure. I respect the guy.
We respect what he's done with his money.
I don't like his content, but I get why people do.
Yeah,
sure, of course.
But yeah, Markiplier and PewDiePie, there's
probably the two biggest names. Really, I mean,
in
terms of
they're
Let's
the
Play,
innovators, the creators of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then Total Biscuit.
Total Biscuit, I love. Actually, Total Biscuit has been one of my like inspirations to get into like games, news, and journalism and all that. I've been following him for a really long time. He used to have, back when I was really super into World of Warcraft, he had this daily show where he talked about World of Warcraft news and stuff like that. And now he's grown from like this small time like Blizzard guy to like this dude who just commentates on all games, and he's one of those dudes that's in the forefront of the fight against, microtransactions and bullshit, publishing decisions.
Which that surprises me that he's on here, because like I would figure Angry Joe could be on there, but he's like, I think the industry is afraid of him a little bit because he comes in and just roasts games.
Definitely. But Total Biscuit too. But he has a lot of push though. Like, it's weird to think that like, because I think Total Biscuit is I think he is actually the biggest PC gaming channel on YouTube, and developers and publishers are legitimately scared of him. Like when he gets games, because sometimes he won't even get review codes because developers or publishers will know that he's going to shit on it and call them out on their bullshit.
We've reached an age now where they make a difference. If you go and look at Angry Joe's Destiny review, it has almost 7 million views. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty crazy. I mean, 7 million people watched him tear Destiny apart. Like, and he was right around.
But see, that's the great thing about these gaming journalists that do that, is they have enough respect for the industry and for the gaming community to criticize these games.
Yeah.
Because instead of just, it's a great game, I loved it, blah, 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 they're actually saying what needs to be fixed so we can continue moving forward with something better.
I totally agree. I mean, IGN and Game Informer, I love Game Informer as a magazine because I just like having that physical thing to read about video games.
Right.
But like the two of those, like not to call them out, but like review after review is like 789, 789, 789. They just love everything. It's like, when was the last time you like
7 out of 10?
If it's a big game, like it gets a good score. And it's like, come on,
Yeah.
So
I pretty much moved all of my reviews to people on YouTube. Mm-hmm. I mainly watch a little like smaller name people. Than
I do like GameSpot. I'm a big fan of Daniel Dwyer.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
We like watching his show, The Point, on there.
Yeah.
Game Grumps.
Yeah,
Game Grumps too.
Yeah, I like Game Grumps and Super Beer Bros. Some smaller Let's Players. So, but yeah, I think I totally agree with Greg Miller.
Yeah, so Greg Miller, we kind of got here. We're tangents. That's what a podcast's all about. It's tangents.
I think there could have
Greg
been
Miller won Trending Gamer.
Yeah, I think Greg Miller deserved it too.
For the title, trending.
Yeah,
like up and
definitely.
coming, right?
I think there could have been an argument made for Total Biscuit to
or Markiplier, really.
Yeah,
all of them deserve it. That's why they're all nominated, right? I mean, that's
especially too since I explained it earlier, but for those of you who don't know too, like Total Biscuit has been having like a really hard battle with I think he has rectal cancer or something along that line, and he's been fighting it for like 2 years or so now, and then like. We finally, like, as his fans, got the news that, like, he was in remission and he was doing fine. And then he just made an update video maybe a month ago that his cancer's come back. And it's been a tough go for him. So I would have liked to have seen him win just because of that. But Greg Miller totally deserves it.
And it's funny how Greg Miller has been cancer-free for like 2 years.
Yeah.
It's like a thing.
It's weird.
Absolutely.
It's
and
really weird.
His speech was,
his speech was amazing.
He summed up basically a thank you to video game developers for everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
I love how he come out and he named that random person that he saw in the credits.
Yeah.
He's like, I've never met you and I don't know who you are, but you were an environmental designer for Tomb Raider.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. And it was if you haven't seen it, go look it up.
Yeah.
It was a really cool speech. I felt like he was going too long. Like the people who are running the show were like,
all right, come on,
Greg. He's like, we're who we are because you made games. And he's
such a cool guy.
Yeah, I love him. So then we get into away from the fans' choice stuff, and then we start getting into the games here. So I'm just going up the list. Best art direction. You, Alyssa, you and I agreed, and I think all four of us, hands down, knew what we were going to pick.
Yeah. In fact, before they even put the nominees, as soon as I saw the word art, I was like, Bloodborne.
Yep. What was yours? Was you too?
Yeah, hands down, I thought for sure it was going to be Bloodborne.
So you want to go over the nominees?
Yeah, we'll go over the nominees.
Batman Arkham Knight, I didn't get that. I felt like, Taylor, what were you saying earlier about
that? It was kind of like they didn't have any categories to put Batman in, so they were like, art direction. Like,
don't get me wrong, it was a pretty game, but
yeah.
it wasn't very innovative
Yeah,
in
for
any
me,
way.
yeah, I agree.
Artsy about
Yeah,
it.
art direction is like when you're like looking at everything, like God, wow, like who came up with this stuff?
yeah.
You know, like that's
Yeah.
you know.
Visually, it didn't really look that much different from any of the other Arkham games. That was my thing too.
Yeah.
Nighttime city,
Yeah.
Neon, you know,
Pretty much.
Bloodborne was 2. We all like I saw the announcement, we were like, that's it, right?
That's
it. Metal Gear Solid 5. I have not yet played yet. I will play it because
it's beautiful. Trust me. Once you first get into Iraq, you're gonna do that. You're gonna pan the camera and just look around at the rocks and like it's pretty sexy looking. But it's realistic looking. It's not. There's nothing artsy about it. You know.
Kind of like Batman.
It's pretty much. It's pretty much a cool like in-game implementation of what like an actual landscape would look like. But yeah, I totally agree. It kind of is like art. I don't know if I'd call it that, but it's Yeah. I think it deserves to be in the conversation at least.
A game that I bought yesterday and I cannot wait to play because I've heard nothing but good things about it. Ori and the Blind Forest.
I think I'm the only one here that's played it, right?
Yeah.
Alyssa and I are going to play it together.
You're going to love it. It's beautiful. It's so beautiful and it's so colorful and there's just sparks and explosions and it's visually beautiful and emotionally beautiful too. It's a great game.
It's artful.
This game for me was
really
like
artful.
Was the beginning of the year when I think it came out like March or April.
Yeah.
But like in January or February when Microsoft announced it, like this year was such a huge turnaround. I think with Phil Spencer at the head of Xbox, like Microsoft really made like a huge 360, and I think that was a huge part of it. It was like them recognizing this new studio of Moon Studios and like basically giving them an exclusive indie game, and it like blew everyone away. So I can't wait to play it.
Oh, it's fun.
And then The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. The Witcher 3 is all the fuck over this nominations. And,
yeah.
You got nominated like 4 or 5 times, I think.
Yeah.
Which I would agree with that too, as far as being nominated.
But I mean, in terms of, for me, when I was looking at these categories, in terms of art, you're looking specifically at the art. I thought for sure Ori, but Bloodborne was just so dark and beautiful and
it's like,
different.
Like contradictory things, like it's ugly and yet like you'd want to just stare at it.
It's amazing.
It's like that
Heart of Darkness.
It's like when you're in Yharnam and like the moon, like that blood
red moon
is like shining off of these
gorgeous.
like weird Victorian
Everything
buildings.
had this wet look to it.
Yeah.
It was gross.
It was yeah.
I mean, even just the creativity, looking at all of the different creatures and monsters.
God.
That alone.
And that's, I feel like that's why, and just to go back really quickly, like that's probably why I think they threw Witcher in there, because like if you take the creatures out, it's pretty straightforward fantasy forests and mountains, but the creature design is out of this freaking world. Like it's not like Lord of the Rings. That, there's no orcs in Witcher. Instead, there's like all these crazy drowners, and so I think that's probably why they put it in.
Yeah.
I'm really confused as to why, so Batman's in there. What should have been in place of Batman is the perfect example of what this category is about, which I don't know if you guys saw the King's Quest reboot.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
It's so the graphics and the textures are all hand painted and then rendered into the game.
I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
How could that not be
It's
nominated?
fucking beautiful.
I want to play it so bad.
Yeah, I mean the cape that he wears and the
dragon
and just the rocks, everything is hand painted and then translated into video game textures.
I'll tell you what, next year
beautiful.
Cuphead better win.
Absolutely.
I don't even care what else is nominated.
See, that's what art direction is.
That's what it should be.
So I don't get.
So we all thought Bloodborne.
Absolutely.
But Ori and the Blind Forest won, and that certainly
That's
I don't
fair.
think that did
Deserves
yeah, once you guys play it, you'll see
That's
okay.
very
all you have to do is look at a trailer and be like, wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
It is beautiful.
So.
Yeah.
That was best art direction, so that was good. Best multiplayer. You guys want to hear the nominees real quick?
Yes.
Call of Duty Black Ops. I'm sick and tired of hearing about anything about Call of Duty. That's just my bias, to be honest.
I am too.
Destiny the Taken King. I feel like Destiny's a lot better. I don't know if it's better because it's better or because I came back to it knowing what it is and my expectations set properly, and now I enjoy it playing with other people.
So Destiny the Taken King that's an expansion. So we have an
huge
expansion
expansion.
on the list. It's not like...
Well, it was giant, though. It was like between another $60 game and like DLC. It was like bigger than normal DLC, but not quite a $60 like new game. But it added a lot to multiplayer. New maps, new weapons, a whole new hierarchy system with everything turned on its head. So it's pretty cool. Halo 5 Guardians, fantastic multiplayer.
Yeah, I'm still playing it right now.
Yeah.
Rocket League.
I have not.
We haven't played it.
I have not played it, but
we do.
You have no idea how many Let's Plays I've watched of people
Yeah.
just playing it.
Alyssa and I were watching Angry Joe play it.
Oh,
it was
man.
so Angry Joe and other Joe were playing it, and it's
hilarious.
It's so fun to watch.
It's hilarious.
Yeah, and I think that counts as multiplayer. Like we're just watching other people play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's entertaining.
It is.
The final is a game. It's the only reason I haven't been able to play it is because I don't have Nintendo stuff. I would like to. And I was just thinking about buying a Wii U, and they're like, NX is coming out next year. I'm like, well, I'm not buying a Wii U.
Yeah, no point.
Yeah,
but Splatoon was the other one.
Which I think totally deserves that spot. Yeah.
Have you heard of or played much? Like, have you ever seen Splatoon or anything?
I've never even, before we watched the Game Awards, I never even heard of it, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's revered.
We just don't get like
highly ranked.
We're not in like the Nintendo, and not because I don't like Nintendo, but just because I've got a $1,400 PC and two $400 consoles, and I just have no money left.
See, like, here's the thing about Splatoon too, is that like I didn't think it really like broke any new ground as far as like a multiplayer game goes, but just purely like once you're amassing the gameplay, it's just fun when you're playing it. Like, it has that shooter feel that's not the same thing as Call of Duty, where you're just fucking. Your Twitch shooter, you're running around, you hit some guy, you 360 no scope, blaze it, like no-scope. You know, and it's like, it's just so fun, and it has that charm to it that only a Nintendo game really has.
Yeah,
but
I can see that.
And it looks beautiful in its own way. I mean, it's not like
it's addicting.
Fidelity-wise, it's not beautiful, but just like it's just colorful and fun. It's Nintendo.
It's really, really addicting too. It's definitely one of those games where you're playing a match and. It's like, oh, okay,
just one more.
Yeah, I'll go to bed. And then I'm like, no, all right, maybe one more because it'll start up again. So I think that Splatoon definitely is worthy of an award like that.
Just to go off on a very small, quick side tangent, and I'm asking the same question to all of you, so we'll just go around. What do you guys think of not just being elected for Best Multiplayer, but 0 nominations for Star Wars Battlefront? Just go around. Let's go. Do you want to start with that? I know you haven't played Battlefront yet, Jimmy, but...
Yeah, I haven't
you've
played
seen
it.
Like,
I've seen... hours worth of gameplay and heard many opinions on it, and
I'm very mixed.
Collectively, what I've gotten is people are pissed.
Yeah,
well,
that seems to be like people feel a little betrayed by it.
Yeah, it's like the most beautiful, alluring shell.
Yes.
I want the shell, and you buy the shell, and you're like, God, I can't wait to see what's inside the shell, and then there's something in there when you get in there.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Ruben?
Well, what I was going to say is I kind of feel like the Game Awards maybe had a cutoff date, because you also noticed
but Battlefront was within the date.
It was?
Yes.
I
think the cutoff was the very end of November, and it came out on the 17th. It was definitely within.
Well, did Fallout come out before?
That's what I was going to say.
Only by a week. I remember looking this up a few days ago because I had seen all the nominations and noticed Battlefront wasn't in there, and I looked up, and it was within the date to be nominated.
But Fallout wasn't.
Fallout was too. Well, Fallout came before.
So what I'm trying to say is, why wasn't Fallout anywhere?
It was Game of the Year.
It was Game of the Year, yeah.
Oh, it was nominated.
I want to say it was an
RPG. It didn't win Game of the Year. Don't take that. It was nominated for Game of the Year.
Right. Yeah. It was also
nominated
for
who won yet.
Best RPG. It was nominated for as well.
Right. So it was definitely nominated, but I just found that peculiar.
Yeah, I did too. Actually, you know what was funny is I was thinking on the last topic, the art direction. I was like, where's Battlefront? Because Battlefront has like easily the most beautiful game I've played this year.
Yeah.
So
maybe they're just saying because it was like they have that new technology where they literally scan a TIE fighter right into the game.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it still takes a lot of work.
In between each presentation, we were taken to a room where I think it was Justine or somebody.
Oh yeah, that girl.
Yeah, weren't they playing Battlefront in there?
Yeah, they were playing Battlefront, and then she would ask each person that came through that green room about what they thought of Battlefront. It was almost like it felt like an advertisement.
Yeah,
it was just weird that Battlefront was completely Ghosted. And I feel I'm kind of glad, even though I am really enjoying Battlefront, and I'll have a review out for it pretty soon. But the fact that I'm enjoying it, but I feel like you gotta bring it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Like you can't just show up with a pretty game and be like, well, I'm sorry, there's not a lot here, but look how great this sounds.
Yeah.
And win nominations. So
So
winner. I'm sorry, I got way off. Splatoon 1.
which is so crazy awesome for
To beat out
Nintendo,
Halo and Call of
because,
Duty?
Yeah, you are sitting on
And Destiny?
The category is best multiplayer. You got Halo and Call of Duty
And Destiny.
and
a
Destiny.
Bungie shooter and anything,
Yeah, which is what those games were in. Pretty much what they make them for.
Yeah.
It's multiplayer. That's
Yep.
where they're making the money and making their sales. And then Nintendo comes with this silly, quirky, pretty looking
Not taking itself seriously.
painting,
Yeah.
painting shooter game and wins best multiplayer.
Hey, if
Like,
you make
I
it, if
think,
you make a good game,
Awesome.
people will recognize that.
If you build it, they will come.
yeah,
So the next three, I'm gonna go over quickly. So just like small thoughts. Best sports and racing games. We got FIFA 16, Forza Motorsport 6, NBA 2K16, Pro Evolution Soccer 2016, and Rocket League. Do you guys want to know the winner of all these giant ass sports games
Rocket
Was it
League.
by
Rocket
EA with millions and millions of dollars at their disposal? And Rocket League beat them all.
That's kind of cool, though. I like that.
yeah,
Rocket
that's
League
it.
won
Awesome.
best sports game. Anyone have anything to say about that? at all?
I didn't play any of those, so
I kind of wish Need for Speed
I
was in
played.
there.
I played the new NBA game. That's really
I
hard.
want to play. I love 2K. I think 2K makes the best sports games.
Yeah, it's really hard, but it's really fun. I
It's
like it.
it's a simulation.
They're all really well
It's a
made.
did
simulation.
you name Madden on that?
No, there's no Madden did not
No.
get elected, which I'm
Really?
surprised by because this was a better Madden than in a
Yeah.
lot of years prior, but didn't get elected. Okay, best family game. I don't know what the fuck is that. Disney Infinity 3.0, Lego Dimensions. We were just talking about how we don't like Lego games. Skylanders, Superchargers, Splatoon, and Super Mario Maker. Mario Maker won,
Yeah.
No surprise at all.
right?
Yeah.
How
yeah.
would that not win?
Yeah.
It should.
I don't think we did. Is there any?
Well, I mean, the market for Skylanders is ridiculously crazy. I mean, Black
don't
Friday
get-
moms go fucking crazy
Moms.
over getting those figures.
Get out of their vans and their mom jeans.
And there's soccer.
I don't really understand what Skylanders is. I always hear about it, but I don't. What is it?
It's many different genres in a game. It's a lot of platforming. There's racing, and there's a lot of people are really into it. And
Kind of like
apparently-
Neopets. This generation's Neopets.
You kind of.
It's like
but
it's like take an amiibo figure like statue thing, put it on like a readable platform, and then you can use that character to play in a bunch of different mini games.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's
interesting.
cool. I mean, I'm sure it's well made. It's just not something that I,
No,
Yeah.
yeah. I do want to collect the Star Wars ones though because they look pretty cool.
This one was a wash. Best fighting game. We already know what that's going to be because it was one of the better fighting games I've played in years. But Guilty Gear XRD Sign.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
Pulled a little Kevin out of there.
Yeah.
Mortal Kombat X.
All right, what's that?
Rise of Incarnates.
Oh yeah.
Rising Thunder. I mean, this is not even like they had to like
The
they
fuck were
had to
any of
like
those
come
games?
up with shit.
Never
Like,
What are they working with
Never
here?
heard of any
I
of
think the
those.
only reason they came up with this genre, like this category for this year, is because Mortal Kombat
To
was
put
so
Mortal
great.
Kombat into
Well,
something.
Mortal Kombat was so
Street-
good.
Street
Like,
Fighter's not out yet, so
Yeah.
It's like
we gave Mortal Kombat, ZeroHp gave Mortal Kombat an 8.5 this year, which is an incredibly high score. It was a fantastic game.
Yeah. It was.
Didn't have Cyrax in it, which really hurt me. But
Yeah.
easy win.
You're getting the Frankenstein Cyrax here
Yeah,
pretty
I
soon,
don't.
right?
Part of me likes that. Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't.
There's two things that make me very excited, but at the same time, I don't even know if I'll buy it. But they 4 new characters. Leatherface from Chainsaw Massacre.
just kind of cool but weird at the
It's
same
just-
time.
They're
I'm
going with
down
their
it.
horror story thing because they had Jason,
Freddy,
Yeah,
Jason. Yeah.
Freddy. So I'm trying to save the ones I'm excited about last.
Okay.
What was the other than the robot and the one that?
Oh, the fat drunken guy. I forget
Oh,
what his
Bo
name
Raicho.
is. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Who
fat
pukes and
drunken.
like slip on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, so Triborg, and this pisses me off. You can like change like shaders. I don't know how to work in a gameplay sense, but it's basically Cyrax, Sector, and Cybernetic Smoke all in one character. I was like, "Fuck you guys! Like, give me my favorite character." Like, people are like, "Well, you're getting your character," but to me, it's like,
You're getting a weird fucked up version
Well, like
of
what
him.
I told Taylor the other day when he asked, he was like, aren't you glad you're getting the character? I'm like, well, if I were to tell someone whose favorite character is Scorpion, well, you're kind of getting Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Noob Saibot all in one. It's like, no, I want my character. Like, I love Cyrax, but I don't get my net, so that's fine. And then the other one is the Xenomorph.
Oh.
So we can have the Predator and the Alien.
Oh, it's so cool.
This would be so fucking
You
cool.
acid spit and like tail whip and shit. So that's
and
gonna be
chest
great.
burster. They have the one where it's like.
Oh
right
fuck
through.
yeah!
I bet those fatalities are good.
I loved Mortal Kombat. I was way worse at this one than I was at the one in 09 for the 360.
Oh, me too.
I think it's because I had Cyrax and I just got really good at him and like I just couldn't catch on. But I really enjoyed it. We always play it at parties. It's a lot of fun. All right, so we busted through those ones. We're about halfway through already. Best role-playing game. Leonardo DiCaprio, a.k.a. Bloodborne. That was once Jimmy came up with that one.
Yeah.
Bloodborne, poor Bloodborne, keeps getting elected. Fallout 4. Pillars of Eternity, which is a PC isometric.
Which that was a Kickstarter-funded game, right? Was it?
It was.
And it was it was a callback to the.
It was
Baldur's
Obsidian.
Gate style.
Obsidian made it, yeah. Obsidian Entertainment, which
Yeah.
has a very iffy track record, actually.
Yeah.
On and off, on and off.
Yeah.
But Pillars of Eternity was nominated, which is great because that was a Kickstarter game. You want to see that, it wasn't a big game.
Yeah.
And Witcher 3 and Undertale. So do you guys know what won? Do you guys know?
It was Witcher, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Witcher won. Mm-hmm. Which I feel like, and I might be biased, but I've heard this from a lot of people I listen to on webs, like people who are in the industry. So I don't feel like I'm totally biased here. But like as good as all the other games are in here, Witcher all around. So like you can take individual pieces out of Witcher and say Bloodborne's better than this. Pillars of Eternity does this better than Witcher, like very individually, but as like an entire package,
Yeah.
I feel like Witcher's one of the, if not maybe the best role playing game ever. Like.
Yeah, I was originally going to say Fallout, but I feel like Witcher had just such a more immersive world.
Yeah, I've never played anything like it. I mean, you're on the main story and you talk to some peasant, and 3 hours later you've found this entire, completely cinematic storyline that has nothing to do with the main plot at all. I mean, I've just never. That's always been the thing. Like last year when Dragon Age came out, like Dragon Age is great, but goddamn, like how many letters do I have to collect? And, like, you know what I mean? Like, go get the soldier's boot, and it's just like, what the fuck is this filler?
The Witcher 3 side quests felt like they were main quests.
In other games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, fantastic.
And the main quest stood up to those side quests and was even more, so many moments that will truly never forget in my entire life. Like,
so I agree with you. Best rounded RPG, The Witcher 3 definitely is. I personally, just the gameplay, I just had way more fun with Bloodborne because that's just the style of gameplay I just really enjoy.
Oh, it's so great.
But Witcher 3 all around it is. And Fallout 4 is...
Fallout 4 got snubbed.
Yeah, it
this
is.
year. Like, everyone was like, Fallout 4, Fallout 4, Fallout 4.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give you a small spoiler for Game of the Year where it didn't win a thing.
No. Because it's... you guys already had the discussion about Fallout 4, and I wasn't in it, so I'm not sure what you guys said, but...
this will actually get released before our conversation.
Oh, really?
Fallout 4. Yeah, because
my view on Fallout 4 was it's Fallout 3... but a little better.
Yeah, a little better. Yeah, that's exactly what we were saying, how like it's just been built on an old rusty engine.
Yeah. Yeah, like
I can agree with that.
We've seen it.
It's the same engine as Oblivion.
Yeah.
I mean,
it didn't
it's old.
introduce anything new.
It just does what it does and it does it damn well.
Yeah. I mean, it added base building, but that's just a meta game. That doesn't add to the actual core
I mean, it's fun.
play of it. Yeah,
Alyssa knows all about base building.
I haven't even touched really the main plot. I've spent about 5 hours building up Sanctuary. That's
you
pretty
look
much
at
what
her,
I've
you
done.
look at her game. It's like 9 hours and 20 minutes or something, and like she's just still in Sanctuary
I
building
have a beautiful
shit.
base though. I do. It's quite nice.
So I mean, which is a lot to say for something that is just a metagame. How deep and like addicting that can be. Is,
But then in Witcher you have Gwent and like
Witcher,
stuff like
you've got Gwent, you've got the side quests, you've got the characters, you've got the world itself, which is just as fleshed out as Fallout's world. You can find, those like kind of stories that aren't stories that just like you walk into a cave in Fallout and it's
you read a piece of like a book or something or a letter or
you
whatever.
get all of that in Witcher and more. I think a lot of people don't like Witcher as much because you don't get to make your character, but if you play through it, it just I don't know, Geralt. I can go
overall.
On. I can go on for the whole night about Witcher.
Right.
So I won't.
I was gonna say overall that category is pretty stacked. Actually,
that is greatest lineup of RPGs in a long time. I loved all of those games.
I'm about 3 hours into Undertale, and it might be the best indie game I've ever played. Certainly the best music that I've heard in a long time. It's
that's
beautiful.
That's such a big
it's
deal.
Such a throwback to Super Nintendo
I might really
music.
like it.
It's so goddamn good.
Who are we watching that was just raving about Undertale?
Almost everybody has been.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of praise from it.
I feel like it might have been Danny.
Danny O'Dwyer. Dan Tack and Tim Turry in Game Informer. They were playing through Dark Souls and they kept talking about it all the way through it. I love those guys. Another plug. YouTube, Game Informer, Chronicles, Dark Souls, Dan Tack, and Tim Turry are amazing. They're so funny. You should go watch it.
But of those games, though, Undertale is the most innovative. If you guys get to play it, the combat system is never been seen before.
Oh, wow.
It's something completely new.
Is it similar to Earthbound's, or what's the deal with it? It's
got a little meta puzzle game in the battle. So whenever you're attacking, you've got to go through these little avoid obstacles to do attacks and avoid attacks. You also don't have to attack enemies. You can actually talk with them and talk your way out of situations. And you could go the whole game without leveling a single thing and just talk your way out of the whole game. Oh. It's really cool.
That's interesting.
It's kind of hard to describe. You have to see it.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll have to. I'm just buried. I'm buried in games right now.
Yeah.
This year has been amazing. I'm trying to just play everything so I can have at least an opinion.
Yeah.
All right. So we're just gonna keep moving on here. Best action adventure nominees: Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I think I'm the only one who's played it.
Yeah.
Really enjoyed it actually. Alyssa played some of it. And you watched me play through some of it.
Yeah, I didn't get to finish it though.
We'll talk about it a little bit. Batman: Arkham Knight. Again, feels kind of shoehorned, coming up with more ideas. And not that it was a bad game, but it just
I think it
didn't stand out.
Yeah, I think at least for this category, it kind of deserves to be in the conversation. But I don't think it's it should win it or anything.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Awesome.
Ori and the Blind Forest, and Rise of the Tomb Raider, which Alyssa and I are playing through right now.
Sorry, what was the category?
Action adventure.
Oh, action adventure. Okay.
MGS one. I haven't yet to play it, so I can't say I will play it this year.
Great game.
Yeah. It encompasses all that is action, I think.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's an action game, and it's fucking awesome.
But the category is action adventure, right?
Action adventure.
It's open world, and you can do...
Has a lot of places to explore.
Kind of that weird level, a weird space between RPG and straight linear action, like Uncharted. Kind of like a mix of an RPG.
Yeah.
All of those are like that.
For me, if it's an action adventure category, I gotta throw my hat in for Tomb Raider just because
you
have that definite feeling of adventure.
Yeah.
You're going.
It's very literal to those words.
Yeah. So you got Tomb Raider, which is absolutely adventure.
It's like the pinnacle of what it is.
But then you get Metal Gear Solid, which is absolutely action, but it's also got adventure.
Yeah.
Well, I think the only really difference between them is one's linear and one's not really. I mean.
Yeah. Well, actually, Rise of the Tomb Raider is open world.
Oh, really?
Semi. It's kind of like Dragon Age, where not really like Dragon Age. That wasn't very good. But you go to a different open area hub. It's not one giant open world. Like Assassin's Creed Syndicate is a mind-bogglingly giant London. It's huge, as far as you can see, and there's buildings all the way back there, and it's what do they always say in those open world games? Anywhere you can see.
You see that mountain over there?
You can walk to there.
That was Zelda U.
Zelda, yeah.
So it's got these open hubs in it. So MGS won that one.
Fuck yeah, I'm buying that immediately.
Yeah.
All right.
Fucking mountain.
Moving right along here. Best shooter, Call of Duty. Fuck Call of Duty. Destiny, Taken King, Halo 5, Splatoon. Oh, Star Wars Battlefront is got a nomination there.
There you go.
Did not win though. So Splatoon won that one too.
Best shooter. Going up against Call of Duty and Halo.
Yep.
Splatoon.
And Destiny.
That speaks about how awesome Splatoon is. I can't recommend that game enough if you want just a game that's purely fun.
Because it's kind of hardly a shooter. Because, you are shooting paint out, technically. But, when you think shooter, you think,
murdering?
Yeah.
Shooting guns.
Bullets.
Yeah. It's just... Splatoon, when you get down to it, it's this giant painting game. Just happens to be the utensil you're using to shoot paint out of his... a paint gun.
Yeah.
Wow. Good job,
crazy.
Nintendo.
Yeah, and go Nintendo.
I need to play it.
So now we're getting out of categories, and now we're going into like behind the scenes, like performance, soundtrack, things of that nature. So best performance, voice acting. We had Ashley Birch as Chloe Price in Life is Strange. I've not played.
It was fan-fucking-tastic.
Alyssa, we need to play
Loved
through
it.
that.
Yeah, we keep hearing about it. It sounds
Sounds like
really
right up our
interesting.
alley.
Yeah.
Too. I love those narrative-based games. Camilla Luddington as Lara Croft. Love her.
Yes,
Fantastic.
awesome.
Yes, absolutely.
Doug Cockle is Geralt. Now, a lot of people don't like Geralt because, like, at first, because they think he sounds cheesy. But as you play and play and play, you start to realize that it's actually it's just he's so dry and sarcastic, and I love him. I just love him.
As a person who Witcher 3 has kind of been my introduction into the series, I do like have a tendency to like think his voice gets a little like it's a little too apathetic and boring on some parts, but
I felt that way at first.
I can see where you're
like
talking about
the
though.
the more situations he gets put into where that has to change a little. Like you see glimpses, and you start to like really understand him as a character, and he's a lot more deep than they actually kind of make him seem at first.
No, yeah, that's totally valid.
Gets a little too Christian Bale Batman for you.
My personal favorite is Mark Hamill as the Joker in Batman.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
the Joker's not actually in the night because I know you didn't get a chance to play it, but he is inside Batman's head, and he's like everywhere.
He's like a hallucination,
and it's
no, I've heard plenty of his work.
Fucking brilliant.
Awesome.
Like,
oh, sorry, spoilers if you haven't played that game yet.
Oh well.
you had to have played Arkham City to really know that, but I mean, whatever. It's
at this point, if you haven't played Arkham City.
Yeah.
I just played it not very long ago for the first time, but
best Arkham game.
And then here we go with this whole thing, and all of us were baffled by all this, but maybe we're just ignorant and we need to try it. But Viva Seifert as Her Story thing.
What is
Snuff
that?
film? That's right.
The snuff film. Casting couch. So you want to make $2,000 a day?
Oh man. So what we Oh my god. Oh fuck. Jimmy, you explained this. Explain to the three of us what
I could totally be off because I just looked at a quick article that kind of summed up what the game is, but I guess it's you come up to a computer terminal and it's like in a police database, and it didn't say why, but you're just going through old files, and then you come across her case where I guess she was being interviewed like 30 years in the past for murdering her husband, and you're just going through the computer and like trying to piece the different investigation recordings together, and then compiling her story, hence the name Her Story.
Okay.
Doesn't sound much like a game to me.
Yeah. Blurred lines.
Blurred lines. So, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I can't speak for whether it could be in the conversation.
Like, we were all shrugging, like, what the heck? I felt like everyone in that whole audience was like, what the fuck is this game? Like, no one knew what it was. It kept winning.
I've never heard of it.
It just kept winning everything.
I've never seen it anywhere.
Now people have. So
poor Mark Hamill. He was just mentioning on the show how he never wins anything. He should have. Okay, so moving right along.
Luke Skywalker's the fucking man.
He is. Best score soundtrack. Totally underrated thing in video gaming, and you and Kenny hit on that in your last Let's Talk actually.
Yep. That's one of my favorite reasons why ACG on YouTube is one of my favorite reviewers.
He puts that right into his review as a main segment. I love that.
He loves
score, sound, and
music, sound, and voice.
Music, sound, and voice.
Yeah.
You go ACG.
So what do we got here?
We got Fallout 4. I liked the soundtrack in that.
Oh yeah, I love.
Alyssa and I are trying to find the name of that instrument.
It sounds Irish.
It's like you hear it in like any like an Irish movie or like anything that has to do with Ireland. You hear it all the time. It's like
bagpipe.
I think that's Scotland.
What's the difference?
Oh my god! Don't even get me started on what's the difference.
Kilts, haggis.
That's all Scotland still. you have yet to name an Irish thing.
I'm an ignorant American.
Halo 5 Guardians, beautiful always. I mean, Halo is and Halo 5 was great. Halo 4 was all electronic and stuff. Like, fuck you guys, what are you doing? They went back to
dubstep.
They went back to No, it was great. They went back to very classical orchestra.
It was very dramatic, the music in it.
Metal Gear Solid 5, I don't know.
Awesome.
I mean, we heard that chick sing, so I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if you call that
So
singing.
she didn't really do the song any justice, but like that soundtrack is fucking awesome.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's this one song that's like kind of the main theme of the whole game called "Sins of the Father," and it's a really, really good song. Like it's awesome.
I almost had to walk out of the room when she was singing.
It was bad.
It was
you were
really
so
bad.
uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You were like
I was uncomfortable.
fidgeting and shit.
Yeah,
You're
well,
like,
and it wasn't because it was like bad and it was irritating me. It was like I was getting embarrassed
for her.
And I was like,
I think she thought she was doing well.
Sorry.
You remember that one? The last note. Like,
Yeah.
She's like singing, and then like the song ends. She's all.
Oh god.
All right, Stephanie, we love you. I love
Ori
you.
and the Blind Forest. Yet again, Ori and the Blind Forest is making a run right now. It's been in like
the
every
music
category.
is beautiful in it.
And then here we go again. I'm just a biased motherfucker. Witcher 3, man. I wanted this to win so bad.
Good.
Yeah.
Just beautiful, like Eastern European, like just different kind of instruments that you don't
Weirdly,
normally
like
hear.
tribal.
And I'm just a big fan of like very classic orchestral scores.
Yeah.
Like in games and movies.
Same.
You know, so
Yeah.
it was beautiful. I bought the.
Did Dying Light come out this year?
It did. It got snubbed the fuck out of everything.
That was one of my favorite games this
How
year.
was that not an action
Dying
adventure?
Light, wasn't that? It was early. this year.
January.
Yeah.
That was the zombie game?
Yeah.
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 I had to make sure.
That's
It was pretty good.
I
didn't beat
know
it.
it's
I
not
didn't
on
beat
this
it.
list, but that was my favorite soundtrack, dude. It like had that John Carpenter old school synth like scary movie.
It did
stuff. And I
Yeah,
really
it was
fucking
cool.
enjoyed
John
it.
Carpenter. That's awesome.
Yeah,
it
the
was
thing.
really,
Bow, bow.
really cool. Yeah, that was my favorite soundtrack. But yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So who got best soundtrack?
Sorry, Metal Gear Solid.
Okay.
So I can't speak to that. yet.
I'm down for that.
I played all
I'll let
three
you guys
and
know
I
later.
It was awesome.
I mean,
All right.
I would throw a nomination in for Battlefront, but that's just because it's.
John Williams.
Good
Well,
classic.
the
Yeah.
problem thing is it's not John Williams. Like it's weird. Like when it's John Williams stuff, it sounds good, but they have these transitional ones made by this other poor bastard who has to try and write music.
Poor bastard.
Who has to try and like write around his music, and you immediately tell this is not Star Wars. It's not Star Wars music.
Fuck out of here.
I felt bad for that guy because you don't want to have to do that.
Him and that chick should hook up.
Moving right along.
Singing
like,
that
Best
song.
narrative. I like that this is given a category.
Yeah, that's cool actually.
That's cool.
I like
That's
that
like
too.
that's my thing right there. Like that's why I play video games. So I thought that was important.
So we had backroom
So
casting couch.
we got casting couch. Her story. Life is Strange. Tales from the Borderlands, another damn Telltale game. They're just shitting out games like crazy. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Witcher 3 is in all of these, man.
It is.
Until Dawn, which was so fun.
Until Dawn was such a refreshing game. It was just so different from what we've been getting.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was kind of like Heavy Rain.
Yeah.
It did feel like Heavy Rain. It was so fun. Like
It was so
there's like
fun.
dozens of different endings,
Yeah.
and you can beat it in like 2 days.
Yeah.
That twist, though.
I know.
That twist,
You
though.
called that twist so early.
Oh.
Don't say anything.
Yeah.
I
No,
haven't
no,
You
no.
gotta play. You can beat it. It's not a game where you're like, oh my god, I gotta beat it.
Yeah.
You can beat it in like
Yeah.
a couple of nights. It's quick. It's
Cool.
meant for replayability.
I've been
Absolutely.
meaning to play it at
Like
some point.
in a little while when it's dead, we're gonna pop it back in and just do stuff
Yeah.
differently than we did last time
But
and see what happens.
As far as narrative, I think Until Dawn hit so many different awesome narrative points. It was totally the 80s slasher
Yeah.
film.
Yeah.
And then also it was totally modern like Saw.
Mhm.
And then it was also
The characters were
paranormal.
yeah, it was like
And-
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the narrative got it across beautifully, and it felt like it was a movie made during the Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday
Yeah.
the 13th. It just that's what they were trying to do, and they
They
nailed
ma-
it. They
freaking
fucking
nailed
nailed
it. It was perfect.
It was fantastic. The Witcher 3. We don't have to
Witcher
talk
3,
too much about it. Like
it was
The Witcher 3
incredible.
was
I mean,
freaking
it was one of the,
incredible.
it's a lifetime kind of game. Like I'll never forget my experience with that
Yep.
story.
Um,
Some of my favorite
Tales
characters.
of the Borderlands. I mean, that's
I haven't played Telltale that game. Life is Strange.
Life
Have
is
you had to
Strange
play
is
it?
a really awesome story. But again, it's another Telltale like. It's an episodic you go through the
Make
dialogue.
decisions. And
Yeah,
Winner was Casting Couch. Her story.
the winner is
Casting
always
couch.
casting couch.
Yeah,
And this one was great during the
especially at 1 in the morning. Nobody's awake.
during the awards ceremony. Like the card got fucked up.
Oh yeah.
And
my gosh, that was embarrassing.
So embarrassing. The poor lady is like reading. She's like reading her story. I don't know. She read the name of the actress. She's like Genevieve or whatever. The Witcher 3, and you could see the guy who's representing CD Projekt in the back, like, what the fuck is this? He's all pissed.
Yeah. He's pissed after already winning like 12 fucking awards. Like, come on,
nominated
man.
and everything. I'm gonna skip that one. Only got 3 left. Best indie game, independent game of the year. Axiom Verge.
Oh, call back to
Puddin' pop.
Puddin' pop.
It must be good,
There we
right?
go. But it's like a Super Metroid
Yeah.
inspired game, right?
Yeah.
I like
Made
to
by
play it.
one
One fucking guy.
Metroidvania.
man. Over years though, like he didn't just like do this in the past year. Like he so good.
Her Story.
God.
Again, nomination though. Ori and the Blind Forest, again, that's popping up a lot.
Mhm.
Rocket League,
Yep, that's
Again, popping
everywhere.
up a lot.
Undertale.
Undertale. I'm just with the success of Rocket League and the amount of YouTube videos.
That's why it
that's
won.
up there,
It won
it's
this
gotta
category.
be that.
Yep,
Yeah.
it won a Best Indie Game. I was kind of hoping when I was watching it before I knew I was hoping Ori and the Blind Forest, just because like even though I haven't played it, I just love it already. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, Rocket League definitely deserve. I don't think there's any argument there. I mean, I'm okay
No,
with that.
yeah.
Nothing wrong with that choice. All right, so we move on past that. So now we're down to the last 2. Developer of the Year. I like this. I like this category actually a lot.
I do too. It's pretty stacked if I remember right too.
Totally stacked, absolutely. Bethesda. I mean, every time they make a game, they hit it out of the park, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
like, they are one of the best studios. CD Projekt Red. It's Witcher 3. From Software. Bloodborne.
Mm-hmm.
Kojima Productions. Which I'm surprised they can even say that since he couldn't even be at the damn.
Yeah.
Fuck
Fucking A.
Kojima.
I know, fuck Konami.
Konami, yeah.
She's quoting one of the YouTubers that we watch. It's 1 in the morning. I'm drawing a blank.
What was that? That was
Jim Sterling.
Jim Sterling.
That was
Yeah.
a hashtag on Twitter that was like hugely famous.
I think he was like started it
Oh yeah, no, he was
because his
trending.
video was
Yeah.
Crazy.
fuck Konami.
Yeah.
So yeah, 'cause he was not allowed to be at the production. They were like basically they banned him like with threat of lawsuit to be there.
Bastards.
Nintendo. Yeah.
Speaks for
You just
itself.
like automatically like them every year. pretty
Yeah.
much, so. CD Projekt Red 1.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that? I mean, at this point, they're just sweeping up.
I mean,
right?
yeah. I think that pretty much gives away the next category too.
Yeah.
Slightly. I think there were a lot of developers in there that definitely deserved to be in the conversation.
Yeah, I mean,
too.
anyway, pick just about any of those.
I definitely want to like point out why I think CD Projekt Red, besides just they made an awesome game, they totally surprised me. I remember I bought The Witcher and I went home, took off the cellophane wrap, opened it, and right on the left side where the manual and stuff usually goes was like a note, and the note was just basically telling me that like I get all the DLC for free.
That
and they
was
hadn't
incredible.
marketed that. That was not marketed. They totally just put that in there and snuck it
It was
in
like
there.
legit DLC.
And I was like,
hours of content.
oh my gosh! And it was immediately just like, wow, CD Projekt Red, you guys
major respect.
really, because in this world where EA and
Ubisoft
343 and they're doing
nickel
all
and diming
these
you to like
microtransactions.
EA
and
$50 season goddamn pass.
it's ridiculous, and that was so refreshing to see. And yes, that's why I thought they were the best developer.
I think other than CD Projekt Red, I think obviously No Brainer should win it, and they did win it. But I think Bethesda could have definitely won it too.
They can win it like every time they make a game.
Just because of the whole like we announced this game this year,
Mhm.
and it's also coming out this year.
Oh, I love that.
And,
Absolutely.
That was such a brilliant move.
and they're always on point. Bethesda games are always the best games that are like the bang for your buck. Like $60 price tag, hours upon hours worth of content, and no shitty DLC. You get expansions which are paid for, of course, but they're at least stocked to the brim with content. So yeah, I think they definitely deserve to be in the conversation.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
all of them. I mean, deserve it. Which pretty much they match right up with Game of the Year.
Taylor, I love that that's your go-to phrase.
Yeah,
What? What's your go-to phrase?
they're always in the conversation.
Oh,
Part
yeah,
of the
it is.
conversation.
And your word is exactly.
Yep.
Yep.
Love it. We all have them. Yeah, I think another reason too that I think probably lend to why they picked CD Projekt Red, apart from making Witcher 3 this year, was that all of those other ones are long running, proven, and CD Projekt Red came from like nowhere.
Oh yeah.
They made Witcher 1 tiny little game on PC, like no one ever really heard of it, and had like a kind of a cult classic thing. They're small. Yeah. They're not like giant. They don't, you know what I mean? They made Witcher 2 and that did a little better. Got on the 360. You're like, yeah, it was a good RPG. Yeah. Didn't even get pulled up for Game of the Year, even though it got like 9s and 9.5s from everybody. And then like Witcher 3 came out and it got a little more hype, a little more marketing, got on all the platforms and just blew the doors off everything. And I feel like it's just like, because Bethesda comes out, it's like Bethesda. They've always been there. Kojima Productions have been making great games for decades. Like, you know what I mean? Like, all of them are so big. I think that it was like a Cinderella kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I picked it. All right, last section, and we're done. Game of the Year. All right, our official Game of the Year. We have
the big one,
Leonardo DiCaprio. Bloodborne. That's our Bloodborne. Fallout 4, Metal Gear Solid, Super Mario Maker, and Witcher 3. So
I mean, it's pretty clear
at this point.
Yeah.
I mean,
what are you guys? Any thoughts? I mean, beyond like why? I mean, obviously we already talked about how much.
Well, did any of those other win a category?
Metal Gear Solid took a couple. Best action adventure, best score. Bloodborne and Fallout 4 were both snubbed.
Yeah. Yep. So.
Super Mario Maker won family game
and
something else.
Some other one.
Yeah.
Before the show even started, it was like one of those little awards.
Yeah, one of the little ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But like apart from like we already know like we all have. I mean, Alyssa, you saw me play through like all of Witcher. You've beaten all of Witcher.
Yeah.
Taylor's, you put quite a bit of time into it so far, or something.
Yeah,
not enough.
Maybe like 7 hours ish.
You've got like 150 to go.
Yeah.
That's if you do a lot of stuff. I mean, you can do the main story in like 50.
Yeah.
But like apart from like we've already talked about how great the game is. Like, but does anyone have any thoughts about that winning game of the year beyond like it was good? Like, does anyone?
We pretty much touched bases on it, but like earlier, it's just it was the best well-rounded.
Like it did everything.
Yeah,
well.
it just did everything. Again, I had more fun playing Bloodborne, but The Witcher, it was just it's just on such a larger scale, really.
Right.
Yeah.
For a small team too, actually.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking, I think they only have like 70
definitely.
people. CD Projekt Red. But yeah, I mean that lined up. I mean all of the categories like were just filled with those games.
Yeah.
So I mean I don't think you could have picked just about any one of them. I don't think anyone would be blown away by it. You know, it's pretty predictable.
I mean, my personal one, just because obviously I haven't put as much time into Witcher yet, enough to beat it yet, but out of my personal ones so far, I'd say Fallout 4 and Metal Gear Solid 5 are
kind of like
tied for me.
I need to play. I will play Metal Gear Solid before the month's out.
Yeah.
But obviously, Witcher winning it's no surprise, or
no issues or anything like that. But so yeah, that was our game of the year and our jury voted. Hey, let's see here. Let's see. Nominees for the Game Awards 2015 are selected by a jury of 30 international media. In some cases, the jury has provided advanced review codes of upcoming games in order to meet the Game Awards 2015 judging deadlines. Games must have been commercially released by Tuesday, November 24th, so Battlefront made it within a week. To be eligible for awards, esports nominees were voted on by an advisory panel consisting of esports media and sites.
Weird that it only made one category, too.
Yeah. So there you have.
There's something up there.
But I just really like having. I like having this.
You know what I was thinking actually? Maybe since they had that booth there, maybe they couldn't be nominated for it because they were sponsoring the event or whatever, or had that booth where people were playing it. Maybe they contributed money to the Game Awards, so like maybe there's some technicality where they can't exactly be nominated for it. But
well, is it a stretch to say that those people that reviewed this just didn't feel like it was as good as what they stuck in those
completely
categories?
Possible.
Which game are we talking about?
Battlefront.
Oh,
because we're wondering why it wasn't.
Well, yeah, because I think it was like I said, it was not that. It's not that great of a game.
Yeah.
Like, the biggest thing that I think of when I'm looking at that game is like as much as I love it and I really enjoy my time with it. If it's not Star Wars, no one plays it. Everyone hates it. It gets 4s. 3s and gets thrown in the trash, and it's like in the $20 bin in 2 weeks.
I mean, that's a good way to look at it.
The only reason that it's as good as it is because the Star Wars, like their like clear love for the franchise and like the sound, the music, the gameplay, the graphics is so perfect that you can't deny the quality of that. But if it were like a military shooter, it never would have seen the light.
Just some like sci-fi shooter.
It'd be $20 in like a month.
Yeah.
There's 11 weapons in the game. Like it's the most bare bones thin experience.
It would be the next Titanfall or Evolve.
It's exactly like Titanfall.
Yeah.
Exactly like Titanfall or an Evolve. Like really good solid core, but like nothing there.
Yeah.
There's nothing there. So, any final thought? Alyssa's like asleep on the table.
140.
We're all pretty much getting there.
Any final thoughts about anything at all?
Oh, congratulations to Witcher.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I felt like that when you look at all the different categories that it was nominated for,
It was like 6
music, art direction, it very easily could have swept all those categories, and I think that's why it deserved to be Game of the Year.
I think the only reason it didn't is because they were like, we got to pick something else.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, to kind of wrap it all up, I just want to do like a quick review of the whole event of itself.
Like the event itself.
Yeah. And it
the
just
ups and downs.
Exactly. It has a little bit of kinks it needs to work out, but I'm so glad we have this actual legit Oscars, Grammys style thing for gaming.
Yeah, it's real. Like I watch it and I feel like.
Is there a nickname for the awards yet? Like the actual like.
I would assume it'd be called the VGAs, but that's what Spike called them. But I
or like you know how well it's like you win an Emmy or whatever.
Oh,
or you win
an Emmy, Oscar, Grammy.
Yeah, like is there a
that
name for like
statue thing?
Yeah, is there a name for that? I don't know.
I don't know either.
Gamey.
A gamey.
That's just weird.
What would you call that? I don't
even know.
I don't even know.
A streamy.
No, that actually is. I was just going to bring that up. Do you think the streamies are ever going to be sort of in conjunction?
Like in the same
absolutely.
show?
Could be, yeah.
Streaming is like the fastest growing media industry right now, and I think it's gonna one.
They kind of did with the trending gamer. That was their nod to that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think the streaming is gonna be huge one day.
I think so
It
too.
already is. Yeah. I mean, it's already big.
Well, bigger.
Now,
I watch more YouTube.
It's gonna be on like
and
NBC.
Let's Players than.
We don't have TV because I have Netflix, but I
exactly.
watch YouTube more than anything.
It's all on demand now. We live in such an on-demand culture that it's like.
Well, I just watch YouTube. I watch Angry Joe. I watch Markiplier.
Yep.
I watch my GameSpot, like Daniel Dwyer. Like I just go to the personalities that I usually agree and like to kind of gel with, which is a huge difference than before.
Yeah, and these people are relatable.
Yeah.
They're not
kind of funny.
Exactly.
They're all just great.
But
they're us.
Yeah.
They're gamers.
Basically,
they totally are.
Who are now on platforms that they didn't have to like go get editorial degrees and all this shit, which is fine.
Some of them do.
Yeah, Greg Miller does.
Yeah.
But I love that we can have this conversation. I'm down to have a yearly thing about a overview of the VGAs once a year. It'd be really cool.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
And of course, at ZeroHp, we will have our own Game of the Year show, which will do a lot of the same.
I think next year before this whatever this I forget what this show was called.
The Video Game Awards.
We should take these categories and totally predict it and make a video.
That's what's cool. If you watch the live stream on Xbox, it pops up a thing. Who do you think will win before each thing, and you click on it, and then if they give prizes to the top 10 most accurate people.
Yeah,
that's cool.
That's cool.
It's an
awesome
thing on Xbox. So that was cool. So yeah, we'll definitely do it next year, and then. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Just keep an eye out for January, where ZeroHp is going to have our own Game of the Year show, because that's a big deal.
It's gonna be fun.
I
can't wait actually.
No. Yeah, I'm really excited. I just got to beat MGS first.
Yeah.
And on Fallout 4 story, I'm almost done. And then
gotta be everything. My God, so many games came out in this chunk.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But I have beaten all the other ones we're nominated. We know the nominations, right? Should I go over that? Do you want to go over that now?
No, I think we should save it.
Save it for the show? All right.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same games, I think, to be honest.
Yeah.
but yeah, I've played all the other ones, beat Bloodborne and Witcher and all those games, so it's going to be pretty awesome. Any final thoughts at all for anybody?
No.
No.
All right. Well, let's get out of here because it's 2 a.m.
Yep.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us here on this Let's Talk episode. And, yeah, awesome.
Puddin' pop!
Casting couch.